Welcome to Isis in the Bible, the Spring Gathering, Week 4, Sacred Alchemy. The question for today is, what does alchemy mean to you? Surely you've heard of the chemical, physical attempts at alchemy through modern-day chemistry and physics, but have you heard of the metaphysical one, aka the spiritual one? Just think upon it. A pun is intended. Glad you could join us today. What's happening in the sky? You want to talk about alchemy? Keep an eye on Hygeia, the goddess of cleanses, and what she is up to. You see, this image is more than a bunch of names of pretty lights, rather wandering stars that visit you every single day because they go around every 24 hours. In alchemy, you will hear three important terms, and we'll talk about those. But let's talk about today. Today, Chiron, the wounded healer, is aligned with Mars. A lot of people are red-shifted, taking on things to bring truth and light into people's worlds, and especially as it surrounds the wounded healer. So many are out there, and there's a lot of stories out there of people and what's happened to them throughout their life and how they've been not treated fairly, including there's a recent one in Canada where there's an RCMP who stated his whole life story. He thought he was doing so great going into the RCMP, but he said they're protecting the politicians and the corporations. They weren't about protecting people. So he's sharing his whole story. So that's what Mars does. And there you got Chiron, the wounded healer, and he's one of them. So that's the type of story and feeling you can expect. Obviously, Mars is red-shifted, fiery. And Chiron wants you to be the one to go out and share the truth with people as a wounded healer. So that's the alignment that's today. And then on June the 2nd, this is a pretty interesting one. You got Chiron, the wounded healer, Hygeia, the goddess of cleanses, Kundalini cleanses, that alchemical transformation, where it does this whole seven of the, like CCC, the whole seven portions of the alchemy, because it goes up and down your chakra systems, which are seven, and the moon. So that's happening. So on that same day, though, Mars lines up with Mother Mary, the Phoenix Rising Queen. So you got that, and you also have the moon with Venus. So this is a pretty special day on June the 2nd. So again, if you have to cleanse, you'll feel a cleanse. If you're absolutely pure, you'll feel nothing or get invigorated. It can be one of those three processes, because that's three processes in alchemy. And then on June the 16th, this was pretty interesting because somebody here at Unity during the Mass said, he asked the guest speaker, Mary, who talked about angels. It was a really good talk. And guardian angels, because she sees guardian angels all the time. And he wondered why does he keep seeing his birth date. And on that day, which is the day he talked about, is Mother Mary meets with the goddess of cleanses. So I'm expecting some people are really going to feel that one. That's got to be cool. I mean, the one that brings a Phoenix Rising is going to align Hygeia. That's going to be interesting. So it'll be interesting to see the Kundalini cleanses that get experienced by people, and they're going to be amazing. We did have two sisters here from Unity who actually did the remote viewing. They sent each other an image in a different location, and then they called each other, and they both seen each other's images. So that's the type of thing we're going to expect with this Corona chakra cleanse that we're upon, the Phoenix Rising. We're going to be able to share images. So don't get hung up on covering your camera. I know a lot of us do that. We cover the camera, we worry about who's seeing, but the waters see everything. So don't get hung up on who's watching, because you're watching yourself at all times. So you got a lot of action happening with Chiron Wounded Healer, Mother Mary, or Isis, Virgin Mary, Mars, the Sun, you. Synchronicity, which is totally aligning what's happening with today. Reverend David Old on Sunday says, Swami Vivekananda. And then Kelvin Wheeler talks about the two ones, the 0, 1, and the 1. And both ones are both sides of the magnet, both sides of the field, right? The 6 and the 9, the G and the D. So while he started there, I paused that to go do something, and I paused it right at the 609. So I grabbed the book from Swami Vivekananda, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But the book says God is Brahman. Ken says 1, 1, where the first one is Brahman, which is the path to the absolute. And remember, both these two Fibonacci spirals, the G and the D, the God, the face of God, everything that's in manifest, the path is back to the all, the 0, the point in the middle, the whole, where everything pure stays, stillness, pure potential. So it's really cool and really interesting that that sort of thing will happen. And I got another one to share with you when I get there in a bit. But the path is to the absolute, which is the 0, the all, the infinite. So I did find out the complete works of Swami Vivekananda. It's like 5,000 pages or something long. And when you go and read sections of this book, I highly recommend it. This guy was very much in tune with who we are and the path to nirvana and the path to the absolute and everything alchemy. He doesn't talk about alchemy per se, but he talks about it in a different way. Everything must complete the circle and come back to its source. That's those Fibonacci spirals, right? What are you and I and all these souls? In our discussion of evolution and involution, we have seen that you and I must be part of the cosmic consciousness, cosmic life, cosmic mind, which get involved, and we must complete the circle and go back to this cosmic intelligence, which is the 906 or the God. This cosmic intelligence is what people call Lord or God or Christ or Buddha or Brahman, what the materialists perceive as force, and the agnostics as that infinite, inexpressible beyond. And we are all parts of that, all of it. So from the complete works of Swami Vivekananda, you will soon come to find that he had attained the wisdom of the foundational truth, the true alchemy, the things we talk about every week. So it's beautiful to know this. So then up comes on my computer a brother sharing the Egyptian grammar from Sir Alan Gardner. Well, we have to thank people like Alan Gardner for making a list of all the symbols so that we can see one day the foundational wisdom, which was not achieved at that time. One really needs to understand one of the most important symbols, but I know you all do. Someone want to jump in? Anybody want to guess what this symbol stands for? Go ahead, Mary Fran.
I was thinking pi.
Okay. Pi. Cat?
Creation.
Creation. Perfect. Anyone else? Well, that's the Fibonacci spiral. That's the 6 or the 9, both sides of the field. When you look at it from one side, it spirals out this way. It's like looking at a clock clockwise, and if you go to the other side, if you look in the other side of a clock, it'll be counterclockwise, right? So that's what the G and the D is, the 6 and the 9. When you look at the both sides of the field, you'll see things spiraling out from the hole in the middle and then spiraling back in. So that's what we do. We spiral out and spiral back in. So this is really important. That is the 6 and the 9. So I'll be jumping back to that in a second, but this also came up. Somebody sent this to me. In the 1574 engraving, Calculating Celestial Movement by Peter Hill, featured in Leonard Thurn's work, depicts intricate celestial maps and astrological calculations, interwoven with alchemical symbols. In the image, female alchemists, so you'll see female alchemists, are prominently shown working in laboratory settings, linking the heavens operations with earthly alchemical processes. This portrayal connects the author's work with historical figures like Mary the Jewess. Well, there's a new one for me, never heard of her. A legendary female alchemist known for her significant contributions to alchemy. So I looked her up, and this is what the image showed for Mary the Jewish. Mary invented crucial apparatus and integrated mystical philosophy and practical alchemical methods, highlighting the pivotal role of women in early scientific advancements. Well, when they see these images, they're assuming that she was doing alchemical processes. No, she lived from between 1 and 300 AD. That's what they're guessing, right? None of her works are survived, but just the stories of her. So when they're making images of this, you can see the whole process of coming out and going back in, right? And the tree of life in between, the alchemical process. So this is a pretty cool image. If anybody wants to go look at it, it's really cool. But it's pointing to something. You can see the head of the snake and the tail of the snake. So that would be the north and south nodes, which obviously are meant to be for the eclipses, the sun and the moon when they eclipse. So the book of Cleidophorus Mystagogus, Immortal Dissolvent. So if you're interested in true alchemy, then you'd want to dive into this book. Okay, so this is what it's called. There, you can get them out. You can get them free all over the place. If anybody needs a copy, let me know. But this is it. This is talk about the immortal dissolvent and Trifertus Sagani, 3, right? This book delves into the profound alchemical pursuit of the alkahest, a universal solvent with the power to dissolve and transform all substances into the primal essence. A lot of you spoke about that, the primal essence, which we know is the ether, which we know is love, pure love, right? This treatise intertwines practical alchemical procedures with deep philosophical insights, reflecting of the unity and harmony of all elements and the spiritual journey of purification and enlightenment. I won't read through these all, I'll just give you the points. Unity of all elements, transformation and purification, balance and harmony, the hidden source, and the philosophical alchemy. And I'll just read the last one. The alchemy is not merely a physical process, but a philosophical one. It is an art that mirrors the transformation of the self, where the alchemist's labor in the physical realm reflects an inner journey of the self-discovery and spiritual refinement. Because that's where we really want to go, right? But as you all know, this is the true alchemy, right? Dr. Emoto, you make me versus I love you. You can purify the waters. You don't need apparatus. You are the built apparatus for clearing your own waters. So that is the true alchemy. We've been doing alchemy all along for the last 4 or 5 years, all along we've been together. That's true alchemy, right? But we watch it in nature and we can play with stuff and mimic it all and watch it all happen, but we're getting stuck in the material world when we do that, right? Okay, don't worry, I won't read this. Be brave. I'm just going to show you the relationship with God, the symbol you saw from Brother Alan Gardner. So I took his symbol and you just flip it around. You can see God. Can you not see the word God? The G-O-D, the 609. Right. So when you flip these around, you're looking at the other side of the clock and how things spin. This is the all. This is the ether. This is pure love. This is the infinite. You come in and out of the hole of the womb of a mother, don't you? You eat through a hole. You smell through a hole. Your eyes through the hole. You hear through the hole. You see through the hole. Everything's through the hole. So I'm just going to read these columns here. The spiritual alchemical substance is the philosopher's stone, the alkahest, and the mercury of the philosophers. So this is what they call it spiritually. And then in the material world, they call it the salt, the sulfur, and the mercury. And then in Ken Wheeler's field wisdom, it's magnetism, dielectricity, and the ether. Right? And that refers to, and he does it in one of his latest videos, that relates to the radio, the antenna, and the signal. Because he keeps saying over and over again, if you take the antenna off a radio, you'll never pick up anything. So the antenna is like the water, the alkahest, the dielectric medium. So everything is just reflective of what we already know. We have our yin, our yang, and we have pure love. The red shift, the blue shift in the visible light, and then the green in the middle. So everything is in that 3, but then the 7 comes in, right? So I'll just leave you with this quote. Short one today. From Anna Ryder. When I see I am nothing, that is wisdom. When I see I am everything, that is love. My life is a movement between these two. Nisargadatta. And that's all we have for today.